Whether you operate one forklift or thousands, one location or hundreds, the new My Toyota customer portal can help you optimize your operation and material handling equipment. This one-stop, free-to-use platform is designed to help you take control of your information and make smarter decisions, all at the touch of a button. Register and access your data today at my.toyotaforklift.com. That's my.toyotaforklift.com.
Starting March 9th, your supply chain possibilities are endless. At MODEX 2020, you'll find 950 plus exhibits and 150 plus education sessions tailored to help you discover equipment and system solutions for your material handling and supply chain needs. With keynotes, networking, education, and product booths, MODEX is where manufacturing and supply chain innovation comes to life. Visit MODEXshow.com today and join us March 9th to March 12th, 2020 at Georgia World Congress Center in Atlanta. Register today at MODEXshow.com.
The New Warehouse Podcast, hosted by Kevin Lawton, is your source for insights and ideas from the distribution, transportation, and logistics industry. A new episode every Monday morning brings you the latest from industry experts and thought leaders. And now, here's Kevin.
Hi, and welcome to the New Warehouse Podcast. We are getting closer and closer to MODEX every day. So this week on the show, we are going to do a little what to expect at MODEX. And this is part one of this episode, I guess we could say. And part two will come out this Wednesday as well. So I wanted to keep it digestible at a good length, so I split it up into two parts. We're going to hear from 8 different companies that have been a part of the New Warehouse Podcast in a way over the past year. We are actually closing in right around MODEX time. Actually, we will be celebrating 1 year anniversary of the New Warehouse Podcast. So it's pretty crazy to think that it's been a year, but definitely reflecting back. And I have to say that very, very excited for MODEX because I think that, you know, working with MHI and doing ProMat last year shortly after the podcast was started really helped to propel the podcast out there. And I think that was kind of the coming out party to the industry of the New Warehouse Podcast is here. So really, really excited to be working with MHI even more closely this year, and having a physical booth at MODEX where we will be doing podcast interviews right there from the floor. So we are going to be in booth 4194, so definitely check it out. Come by. And if you are interested in doing an interview, just shoot me an email, kevin@thenewwarehouse.com. That's kevin@thenewwarehouse.com. I do still have some time slots. I think I have about 33 interviews set up right now over the 4 days at MODEX. So definitely still some time though. Definitely time on Thursday as well. If I look at my schedule right now. So if you are interested, email me, kevin@thenewwarehouse.com, and I'll post that info on thenewwarehouse.com too. On the blog post that goes along with this episode, that will be what to expect at MODEX Part 1. Also, we are hitting 50 episodes now. I think that's like a milestone, I guess. People celebrate things at 50, right? So definitely pretty crazy to think about. And as we move into this podcast even deeper, start to go into year 2 of the podcast, we'll be expanding upon the content even more. So at part 2, I think we'll have something additionally exciting to share with part 2. And I think as the year progresses, we'll be looking at probably releasing 2 episodes a week more often as well, because there's just a ton of stuff to cover out there. And lots of really, really interesting things happening in our space. So I want to give the chance to make sure we get enough coverage of that. And to be honest, a lot of people are contacting me wanting to be on the show. So I'm just trying to allow for more time for people to be able to talk about what they want to talk about, because it's really the point of the podcast, is to not only share information about the industry, but give people in the industry a chance to share with others as well, because we're only going to grow if we learn from each other. And I think that's really important. Also, a couple notes on the podcast. We are now available on iHeartRadio as well. And we just got on to TuneIn as well. Newer directory, just kind of learning about it, but we are available on there. So if there is any directory that you listen to your podcast on and we are not on there, then reach out to me and let us know. And we will definitely, certainly get on there. So really happy to have you as a listener, and happy to have the audience keep increasing, and really excited to get into MODEX. So in this episode, we're going to hear from 4 different companies. We're going to hear from the Raymond Corporation. We're going to hear from Impinj. We're going to hear from Big Ass Fans. And we're going to hear from MHS. So they're going to tell us a little bit about what they are going to be showing at MODEX, what they are excited about for MODEX, and then, of course, they're going to give us a little information on where you can find them there. So let's get into it. We're going to talk to Raymond Corporation CEO, Mike Field, and here's my little conversation with him. I am joined by Mike Field, the CEO of the Raymond Corporation. You may remember Mike from previous episode where he talked to us about optimizing before automation, which is Raymond's big slogan right now. And that is something that I truly believe in as well. I think it's a really smart decision. So if you get a chance, go back and check out that episode. You can check it out at thenewwarehouse.com. But Mike is going to give us a little taste of what to expect at MODEX from Raymond. So Mike, welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm doing really well, Kevin, and glad to be here. Our challenges and excitement for the MODEX show are really great at this point. So go ahead, fire away. What questions do you have for us?
Sure. So why don't I guess give us just a little taste of what Raymond is, just in case some people are listening and they're not familiar with their red machines.
Sure. So Raymond Corporation is a company that's getting close to 100 years old.
Okay.
We make all sorts of intralogistics solutions, not the least of which is forklifts, and we're part of the Toyota Industries group.
Okay. All right. Good to know. And you guys had a big presence at ProMat, I remember, as well. And I think one of the big highlights there was kind of the virtual reality training. I remember every time I walked past there was a big line to try that out. So what is going to be the highlight of your booth at MODEX this year?
Well, I think you mentioned it earlier. We're really convinced that the right approach to bringing automation to the warehousing and distribution industry is kind of that 3-step approach that you mentioned, which is optimize, connect, and automate. We're really working on bringing our lean capabilities from our factories to bear on the warehouse and distribution industry. So, everything that we do looks at how do we understand the current process? How do we make it better? How do we connect? How do we take our iWarehouse suite of solutions and connect all that data and use that data to make it even better, further optimize the process. And then finally, then we're ready for automation, whether it's simplistic man-on, man-off automation or full automation. It's always about making sure that we understand fully the process, that we're going to deliver both top line and bottom line value to our customer.
Okay, definitely sounds good. And I remember distinctly. I will never forget what you said on the episode that we talked about previously, where you said, I think if you take a bad process and automate it, that you're just going to do a bad process faster. So I think the steps that you guys are taking and those kind of things that you're pushing, instead of pushing automation right out there to the customer, you're helping them to optimize first. I think that's really, really a good thing. And I saw that you guys are going to have an educational session as well on that, right? I think it's Optimize Before You Automate 2.0. I think I saw it's called.
Yeah, and in that seminar, we're going to cover all the basics of what you need to do to understand your current process, and an outline of how that can happen. What do we need to do? Where are the opportunities for change management, and how can some of the professional services that we can bring to bear help you with that process? before you move into the full automate approach. And automation, takes on lots of different factors around facility optimization as well as labor assist technologies, always focusing on productivity, accuracy, and reliability.
Okay.
We'll be back after a quick break.
You hear a lot about supply chains these days, because if the past couple years have taught us anything, it's that an efficient, well-managed supply chain is absolutely critical to keeping businesses successful and consumers happy. I'm Will Haywood, and I host a podcast called All Business, No Boundaries, where we talk about supply chains, how they work, what happens when they don't, and the innovations that are redefining what's possible in the world of logistics. Join me for insightful interviews with thought leaders and industry experts. We discuss how optimizing supply chains can break down the barriers that are holding businesses back. That's All Business, No Boundaries by DHL Supply Chain. Listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Definitely. Sounds like a good educational session. I definitely would recommend people check that out. So now at your booth itself, I guess you're going to be able to see the different steps in that process?
Yeah, it's going to be a similar setup to what we did at ProMat, a little different focus for the things that we're going to do.
Okay.
We're going to have everything from in-aisle detection systems and zoning and positioning through, automated trucks. We're going to give you a taste of how that layer of iWarehouse technology solutions goes above the truck and allows you to visualize what's going on within your warehouse, but also control it better and step by step every day improve it if you'd like.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm really interested to see that. Like I said, I'm really into the concept that you guys are doing with the Optimize Before Automate. So it should be really interesting. I definitely would encourage everybody that's listening that's going to go to MODEX to check it out. Obviously, we'll be posting information about that on the New Warehouse social media and newwarehouse.com as well. So, Mike, I wanted to ask you as well, outside of your booth, because obviously, your booth is going to be the most exciting thing. What are you most excited to see at MODEX in addition to your presence?
I just like the energy that the show is bringing, especially as automation and some of the technology advancements are coming into the industry more. So I like to see what everybody is doing. And more than anything, if I get the opportunity, I like to walk the floor and talk to some of the people that are really working through applying technology within their warehouses or distribution centers, kind of understanding, the vibe of the challenges they're facing and making sure that our solutions are going to answer their needs. Some of the stuff that, you were going to see around the automation is going to be our 3030 stacker, which is an award-winning product that is an automated solution that allows you to, automate P&D stations. As you mentioned, the virtual reality training and operator training is going to be there in full force, as well as a whole host of new alternative energy solutions and energy optimization capabilities that we're going to be offering.
Okay, great. Yeah. I think MODEX and ProMat, it's a good chance to do that kind of thing and kind of get the voice of the customer that's walking the floor and figure out, what challenges are they facing. And obviously for you guys and other companies like yourself, it's a good chance to figure out, how can we kind of solve those issues and come up with the next great solution. So what booth will you guys be at, and where can people find you on the floor?
Well, you'll see the big red Raymond sign, and we'll be at booth 7819. And, the booth configuration is going to have some moving equipment, which is, always an eye catcher. But we'll also have, some static displays and more than enough people to answer all the questions that all the customers have or interest areas that they want to explore.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Mike. And we will post more information and your booth number as well at thenewwarehouse.com. And we cannot wait to see you guys there at MODEX March 9th through 12th. All right, so I definitely enjoyed talking to Mike and definitely excited to see what Raymond is going to have going on at MODEX 2020. Really, actually, I'm excited to see that virtual reality training. As I mentioned in my conversation there with Mike, at ProMat, the virtual reality was always a line every time I went by to try and get a chance to check it out. And I was very busy doing interviews as well. So I actually have some time set aside with Raymond where I'll be doing a demo of their virtual reality and checking out their booth and getting one-on-one with them. So definitely make sure that if you are not able to attend MODEX, then you are following the New Warehouse on social media. We're on LinkedIn. Just search the New Warehouse, Instagram at the New Warehouse, Twitter at the New Warehouse as well. Definitely will be posting photos and videos of everything that's going on at MODEX there as well. We'll potentially be doing some live streaming too, so definitely check that out. And next we are going to hear from Impinj, who does some RFID technology, and they have what sounds like going to be a really interesting and exciting booth. So definitely take a listen to this. And we are continuing on with what to expect at MODEX. And today we're going to be joined by Sandy Murty, who is the VP of Global Partner Development at Impinj. He's going to tell us a little bit about Impinj, of course, himself as well. And then they're going to talk a little bit about what to expect at at MODEX for Impinj and what you can see in their booth, and also a little bit about what they're excited about for MODEX as well. So, Sandy, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm well, Kevin. Thanks for having me.
Definitely happy to have you on, and happy to be representing Impinj on the podcast as well. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do and tell us a little bit about Impinj as a company?
Great. Thank you. So I lead our partner team here at Impinj, and our task is to really help support and enable our partners to make the best use of Impinj technology and all the solutions that they deliver to their end customers.
Okay.
So that's my role at the company. And in terms of what Impinj does, we're really in the business of connecting everything to the internet and delivering data about those things that help people run their businesses. And what's particularly unique about what we do is that when we say connect everything, we truly mean everything.
Okay.
Examples of real world things that businesses are tracking today using our technology include airline luggage, clothing, pallets, medical devices, car parts, tools, and much, much more. And so we make this possible with the use of RAIN RFID technology,
Okay.
which is a battery-free, standards-based wireless technology that can identify, locate, and authenticate these things that I gave you some examples of. And you can think of it as a low-cost wireless digital barcode that can be attached to anything to enable a system to automatically track and identify that thing. So that's what we do.
Okay. And then you said like a barcode, but these barcodes you don't necessarily have to scan, right? You can pick them up with radio frequency. Exactly.
Because it's a wireless RF-based technology, the signals don't require that direct line of sight that barcodes typically would. We're also able to read them at very high volume. So barcodes, again, you're going to read them one at a time typically. With our RFID technology, you're going to be able to read hundreds per minute, if not faster, if not more. And that can obviously yield a lot of benefits from an operational workflow perspective.
Definitely. And definitely some more precise tracking as well in terms of more pinpointed location, correct?
That's right.
Definitely. So now, what are you guys going to be showing at your booth at MODEX this year?
Yeah, we'll be demonstrating, like I'm sure a lot of vendors will. We'll be demonstrating the latest advancements in our IoT technology to provide that real-time visibility into items, into assets, into shipments that ultimately equip supply chain managers with accurate data to improve the traceability and efficiency of their supply chains. And specifically, that'll include some of our recently introduced advanced chips for next generation labels that deliver higher performance, faster inventory capability, and advanced features that could enable whole new use cases.
Okay.
We'll also be showcasing a brand new enterprise grade RFID reader specifically designed to meet the demands of businesses seeking to connect every single thing in their supply chain to the Internet of Things. And I think most importantly, perhaps to your listeners, we'll be showcasing all of this technology in the context of real-world examples of workflows you'll find in the warehouse. So whether it's dock door operations, pallet building, package content verification on conveyor belts, these will be some of the use cases we will be showcasing at our booth so that visitors to our booth can get a good sense of how Impinj technology can apply to their world today.
Awesome. Yeah. I like the fact that you're going to be utilizing in real world kind of scenarios. Sometimes we can see booths where they're highlighting technology, but you can't necessarily grasp right away about how it's actually going to be applied in your situation. So
yep,
the fact
you
that
got
you're
it.
doing that is really good. So I'm excited to see that. So now, what about outside your booth? What are you or what is Impinj most excited to see at MODEX in addition to your booth?
Yeah, I'm obviously, from my perspective, as I mentioned at the top of the interview, I'm responsible for leading our global partner team here at Impinj. So outside of our booth, what gets me most excited about MODEX is understanding and learning from our global partner ecosystem how and what are the types of problems they're trying to solve for their end customers. We obviously have a very large partner ecosystem ourselves today that has deployed targeted solutions for numerous applications, whether it's inventory management, whether it's shipment verification of the dock door, or real-time locating for assets. And I'm always interested at shows like MODEX about learning what the newest, maybe the most challenging problems are that our partners and our customers are trying to solve, so that we can think about how we can apply our innovative technology to help those partners and customers solve those problems. It's interesting. We've connected, Impinj has connected almost 30 billion things to date. That's billion with a B. Wow. But the reality is there's far more opportunity ahead of us than what we've captured behind us. And our vision for the future is really about applying that technology, the innovations we're introducing, to help people engage with connected things from the point of manufacture through the supply chain and ultimately to the home. And that's kind of our vision for enabling the internet for every single thing. So at a show like MODEX, I'm very excited about interacting with other partners, other customers, educating them about what's possible with our technology today, and ideally kind of solving problems together.
Interesting. So it sounds like you guys are trying to go from a billion to a trillion.
Yes, you got it.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited to see that stuff too. I like how you're taking the perspective of, because a lot of times it's, I guess, your customers that are coming to the show to find solutions for their problems, but you guys are actually kind of reversing that and looking to see what are your customers or partners actually having issues with, and then how can you guys resolve that. So I think that's a pretty smart way of thinking about it. Definitely. So now, why don't you tell us where we can find your booth at and what booth number you guys are going to be?
You bet. So our booth number in MODEX is 6856. We'll have many of my team members there in person, ready and able to answer all of our customer and visitor questions, and very much look forward to meeting you, Kevin, there, as well as your listeners, and seeing you at the show.
Definitely. We'll definitely post all that information on thenewwarehouse.com. And Sandy, thanks so much for sharing that information with us, and we will see you at MODEX. So definitely excited to see Impinj's booth as well. They are going to have those real world scenarios, which I think is really, really important for any exhibitors to show, because a lot of times these technologies, I'll admit myself, when I was at ProMat last year and walking around, some companies, they were saying they had signs up about like, this is their thing, and I look at their booth and I'm like, I'm not sure exactly what that does or how like I can apply that to something that I'm familiar with. So having those real world examples are really, really important. I will also be getting a one-on-one demo at the Impinj booth as well. So definitely that stuff will be posted on our social media. Just look out for the New Warehouse, and you can find all the links to our social media on thenewwarehouse.com as well. Next up, we are going to hear from maybe some would argue the most offensive name that will be at MODEX. I love that their booth at ProMat had all these quotes, and they use for their marketing all these quotes and letters that they get from people that do not like their name. You guys probably know who I'm talking about. Maybe some of you know who I'm talking about now, but Big Ass Fans. So really interesting stuff that they're developing, and I really like how they've gone from making fans basically to expanding their company into all these different things. So we're going to hear from Kevin of Big Ass Fans on this one right here. So listen to this clip. I'm here with Kevin Young. He is the director of sales at Big Ass Fans. You guys may remember Kevin. He was on the episode previously when we were at ProMat last year, and he gave us some insights as to what they had going on at the booth and also what was going on with Big Ass Fans. And if you guys listen to the show or you've been following Big Ass Fans recently, I guess more than recently, probably the last year, they're really targeting not only just the fan industry, but looking at improving employees' quality of life overall. And they also have gotten into lights for warehousing and manufacturing as well. So Kevin will definitely touch on that a little bit. But I think that's really important to point out. So Kevin, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing great, Kevin. Glad to be here. Glad to talk about Big Ass Fans. And we were very excited to attend MODEX this year, and looking forward to getting down to Atlanta and seeing everybody and seeing all the new technology in the industry.
Definitely. So why don't you give, for those people that haven't heard of Big Ass Fans, why don't you just give them a little background on what it is you guys do?
Sure, absolutely. So Big Ass Fans, we're headquartered in Lexington, Kentucky, and we manufacture large ceiling fans, but we've really gone beyond that, and we really consider ourselves the premier manufacturer when it comes to air movement. We've got fans from 20 inches in diameter to 24 feet. We also are a manufacturer of LED lighting, and our major focus is on really improving the quality of life for occupants and spaces. And in this market, it's really creating an environment that is safe, that's comfortable, an environment that your employees will want to work in, and in turn will be productive. And that's something that we've seen this industry as being a big problem. I mean, it's a big focus point for people, and we've been pretty excited about being able to use our technology and the advancements that we've had to really help people out in the industrial space.
Definitely. I think it makes sense. You guys are already creating comfort through the fans that you guys provide, which are awesome. I've had experience with them. And the lights just makes perfect sense as well, improving that quality of life while the employee's at work. And from a safety perspective too, I think that's a huge point, because you go into some of these buildings and it's dark and you can't see maybe if you're on the machine, or people are hiding out. Maybe employees are kind of hiding for the day and you don't know where they go. I definitely heard some crazy stories about that. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going to be going on at your booth and what's going to be like the big highlight there? Yeah,
so we will have some new technology, and one of the things that we will be showcasing at MODEX this year is going to be a CFD, computational fluid dynamics software that we developed called Spec Lab. Okay. And the easiest way to explain this is going to be a simple way to visualize air movement in your space. So what we've taken is 20 years of our R&D research development, and have taken all the data that we've compiled from those years and have been able to put that into a program where we can actually take a specific facility, your facility. We can build that facility with all the racking, with the dock doors, and we can then show you what our recommendation is, and you're going to actually see and visualize where is this fan going to impact my employees. So we will be able to show you where the air movement will be. We'll show you the average feet per minute. So it's a great tool. A lot of people say, well, what's the fan going to do? And this is really the first time that we've been able to take not just a generic space, but take your specific environment and show you exactly what the fans are going to do. It's really, really great. Check that out. We're also going to be launching. We've added a occupancy sensor on several of our fans, so we will have them on the overhead fans as well as our air-eye directional fan. We've seen a big trend in this industry with pick mods, or vertical racking. There are a lot of locations that maybe can't use the large overhead fans, but they're using the directional fans, and they're just running. Even during break time, sometimes there's not a third shift, lunch breaks, and these fans just run and run and run and run. And it's just a waste of energy. Our air-eye technology is extremely efficient for a directional fan. But I don't care how efficient a technology is, there's no point in running it when no one's there to receive those benefits. So it is a technology that we feel makes a very efficient fan even more efficient, really the most efficient solution that you can provide in those racking type spaces.
Really, that's really interesting. I like that actually, because it's kind of I mean, obviously there's the sensors for lights that I've seen now, but that makes total sense. And just like you said, I think the thing that happens in like warehouses is, in my experience, is who's going to be the person that turns it off, and like nobody wants to be the person that has to like make sure it's turned off at the end of the day. They don't want that responsibility. So doing the sensor, I mean, I think that's a huge thing. And then I'm sure, it seems like maybe, a couple of dollars saved, but over time it's definitely going to add up.
It does. I mean, we've seen some estimates. It's, a couple $100 saved. So, I mean, it's not when you look at those type of fans, I mean, it really can add up. And some of these spaces have got, 500 to 1,000 of those fans. So it does add up very, very quickly. And like I said, it's just any wasted money, any wasted energy that's not needed. It's just a waste. There's no point in running it, regardless of how efficient the technology is. So we're really excited about that, and had a lot of buy-in from some of the big players in this industry, and definitely excited to show people that at MODEX this year.
Very cool. I'm excited to see that too. So what are you guys excited about outside of your booth? Obviously your booth is going to be awesome. But what else are you excited to see at MODEX?
I think in MODEX in general, and really at a lot of the big, especially the industrial shows, it's always cool to go to these shows and be able to just see for yourself. I mean, we send our engineers, our engineers here to walk the show as well, not just our teams to showcase what we do. Yeah. But it's always interesting in seeing what companies are doing, and technology nowadays advances so quickly. It's always very exciting, and I always like to see the automation aspect of things. That's become a big player in this industry, and definitely looking forward to seeing what people will come out with.
Definitely. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, and like you said, I mean, the technology is moving so fast. I think even from some of the things that ProMat's things are going to change as well. So I'm excited for that too, and I think that's one of the big things. So why don't you tell us, Big Ass Fans, where you guys are going to be? What booth will you be at?
Yeah, we are going to be at booth 4828.
All right, great. Anything else we should know before we wrap it up here?
No, just hoping everybody comes and stops by. There's really no better way to understand, what our fans can do than seeing them first person. And, if you've got any layouts or anything like that you want to bring to the booth, we'd be more than happy to work up the spec lab and show you absolutely what you need in the space and what that outcome will be. So we'd love to do that for your specific space.
All right. Awesome. Can't wait to see the booth, and can't wait to see you there at MODEX as well. Thanks, Kevin. Definitely interested in seeing that spec lab in action. So that's a really, really good takeaway there. If you are attending MODEX and you are looking for some types of solutions, bring some of your layouts and things of that nature with you. And some of these solutions, they'll actually be able to take a look at it. Like Kevin just said, you can have your layout with you, and they'll actually set it up in spec lab and actually show you how that works. And, I think one of the big things actually that I'm seeing is kind of a trend is just the overall visualization of what's going on in your facility. So we talked about Impinj, and Impinj provides a way for visibility, right, by tracking things through RFID and other technologies too. And then even now with the fans, they're finding a way to give you a visualization into how your airflow is actually going through the building as well. So I really like how Big Ass Fans is focused on overall employee quality of the atmosphere that they're working in, from all the different perspectives, and they really are like attacking it from all these different ways. Really, really cool to see. So really interested to see how that spec lab works. So our last clip for this episode on Monday, right? So we're going to do part 2 later in the week as well, with 4 more companies. So the last clip is MHS, and MHS actually I'm definitely excited to see. I know they had a virtual pick game actually at their booth, and you'll hear from MHS in this clip that they are actually going to have a really, really big booth, a lot bigger than they had at ProMat. So it'll really be interesting to see. So take a listen to this clip from MHS. I am now joined by Lauren Pedley. She is a senior marketing analyst at MHS. You may remember MHS from some of our ProMat episodes last year. Also, we did another episode with MHS as well. So Lauren is going to tell us a little bit about MHS first, and then she's going to tell us about what they're going to be highlighting at their booth this year at MODEX, which will be March 9th through 12th. So Lauren, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Definitely happy to have you on, and definitely excited to connect with you guys in MHS at MODEX. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what MHS is and what MHS does?
Okay, so MHS is a single source automated system supplier. To give you an idea of where we fit in the market, we do ASRS, conveyor, sortation, robotics, controls, warehouse software. It's also important to note that we're not just an equipment manufacturer. MHS has extensive systems engineering capabilities and there's complete turnkey integration services. And then after the sale is made and installation is complete, we have an extensive lifecycle performance services operation to keep systems running smoothly. This includes parts, training, field support, technical support, and even IoT-based equipment monitoring.
Okay, great. And so you guys are going to be at MODEX this year. And last year at ProMat, you guys had a pretty exciting booth, right? You had a really cool display, I know, hanging above, I remember. But you also had kind of a virtual reality picking set up. So what can people expect, and what's going to be the highlight of your booth this year at MODEX?
Well, thank you for the compliment on ProMat. We were very pleased with our booth and had a lot of great feedback. So for MODEX, we decided to one-up it. The size of our booth at MODEX is worth noting. We're in a much larger space than we were for ProMat a year ago. We are, and in a more central, easily accessible location. And that's significant because we've grown a lot the last several years, both organically and through acquisitions. This booth will give us an impressive presence at the show and is more indicative of a company of our size and scope.
Okay, great. And will you have anything interesting at the booth, like the virtual reality picking setup, like at ProMat?
We will, actually. We're going to have a game in our R&D section where mobile robots will bring you a prize. We will also have an area. So the different areas, we have 6 main sections that we're focusing on. Our research and development, software and controls, distribution fulfillment, new sortation products, global reach, and then last but not least, lifecycle performance services. And so in the software and controls area, visitors are going to be able to curate a cocktail or a coffee drink, much like the software can be customized to fit your system. So that's also kind of exciting.
Oh, wow. I like cocktails, so that sounds good.
Yeah, we're going for a very unique overall booth experience. It won't be your average trade show booth, especially when it comes to aesthetic. We've made some important choices with color palette and lighting, which should create a more sophisticated vibe.
Cool. I like it. And it sounds like it's going to be a lot bigger if you're talking about 6 different sections. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
It is. I'm very excited to see it all come together.
Okay. And what do you think you are most excited about to see at MODEX besides your awesome booth? What do you think is going to be the most exciting thing and biggest kind of attraction there?
I'm really interested to see what the other companies are bringing. I am not from this industry. I've been with MHS a few years, but this is our first time at MODEX. So I'm really just excited to see, how MODEX compares to ProMat and what the other companies are bringing. And I know that there are a few companies that are around the same size booth as ours. So I'm really interested in seeing kind of how we perform and what the attendees look like.
Okay, great. And what booth can people find you at?
It is booth number 7646. It's on the power aisle. So if you enter through the main escalator entrance, you turn right onto the main aisle, then turn left onto the power aisle, and we're going to be the 4th booth on your left. Look for dark walls and MHS branding.
Oh, wow. Okay. 7646, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. We will post that information on thenewwarehouse.com. And Lauren, thank you so much for telling us about your booth. Looking forward to seeing it in person. All right, so we know where to get the cocktails now, right? MHS booth. So definitely I will be checking that out. I do actually really enjoy a good cocktail. So I will be there, and we will be checking that out. So make sure that you guys are following us on social media, The New Warehouse, at The New Warehouse. All the links are on thenewwarehouse.com. We will definitely be giving you a lot of coverage on MHS, on MODEX and MHS too. Of course, we're going to go stop by and see them as well. But MODEX 2020, and we will be interested in hearing what you think too. So if you are planning on attending, definitely shoot an email, Kevin at thenewwarehouse.com, or leave a comment on the blog post at thenewwarehouse.com, and let us know what you are most interested in looking forward to seeing at MODEX as an attendee. So thank you so much to our 4 guests on this episode from Raymond, Impinj, Big Ass Fans, and MHS. And we will see you at MODEX, and stay tuned for part 2 later this week. Also, just a reminder that the New Warehouse will be at booth 4194.
You've been listening to the New Warehouse Podcast with Kevin Lawton. Subscribe and check us out online at thenewwarehouse.com.
Thank you for listening to this episode. If you want more content from the New Warehouse, check out our new video series called All Hands on LinkedIn. Just search for the New Warehouse on LinkedIn and follow along.